What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, we're going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down why tomorrow is going to be another massive day for NIO, because not only did we get the CPI report today, but tomorrow we have the PPI report coming out, and this is actually just as important as CPI for many investors, believe it or not. I'm also going to break down why tomorrow is going to be huge, because we have earnings as well for NIO in the night, actually. So it's going to happen at night. I'm going to actually make another video tomorrow before earnings starts where I'm going to talk into more detail about earnings, but I want to focus more on CPI, the PPI report, and how all these things may affect NIO into the open tomorrow. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 10 free stocks, each worth up to $2,500. And you could always sell these 10 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free. The best part is, out of the 10 free stocks, 5 are going to come from the wheel right here. So you can actually buy some AMC shares. You can actually get some free, get some free AMC shares, get some free Tesla shares, or a mix of all of them. Anyways, it's a limited time offer. The offer ends in 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So NIO is up about 4.59% for the day, looking pretty strong right now. And this was actually in response to the CPI report and also some kind of like excitement about earnings, because typically what happens during these earnings reports, NIO and many other stocks out there can make decent moves. So let's actually first talk about earnings. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I have another video for tomorrow I'm going to release it right before earnings starts. Earnings is actually happening tomorrow, and people are not insanely excited for it, in my opinion. I mean, people are obviously excited for earnings, but they're not as excited because at the end of the day, it's going to be earnings for Q2, and we know Q2 was not the best of dates for NIO and the overall market, the EV sector, with the lockdowns in China. So some of the expectations have been kind of lowered. I just want to put it out there. I am going to give you guys more details about this tomorrow, right before the earnings starts. And specifically, just to remind you, it's starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time on August 11th, which is going to be the morning on August 12th for Beijing and Hong Kong. So my point is, I'm going to release a video tomorrow in the afternoon before this, a couple of hours before earnings starts. So that's where I'm going to give you guys the preview. Until then, I want to talk about something else that's very important. So let me actually close these two tabs and I'll talk about this. So yesterday I drew this out for you. I told you if we got the CPI report and these particular ranges, these could actually affect how the market moves. If it was really, really high, it would be horrible. If it's pretty low, that would be good, because 8.7% was the expectation. And what happened? According to the data, CPI rose 8.5% in July, less than expected as inflation pressures ease a bit. So the thing to clarify about this is this. All right, this is not a good report. This is still pretty bad, right? Inflation should not be 8.5%. But the market was happy. They were happy because, firstly, this was below expectations. Like I told you guys, this was below. The second thing is there's this narrative now that inflation peaked in July. In June. For the month of June it peaked. And people are saying now, okay, so for the month of July, for the later months, it should be starting to go down. Remember, it was 9.1% the last time this came out. Now it's 8.5%. So this is a sign that it's going down. And this is why the market is responding positively. When you break down the data, what is good is not only was it down overall, but if you exclude food and energy, the core CPI rose 5.9%, right? Which is actually the same as what we got from June. It was expected to be up about 6.1%. It was lower than expectations. So the market was happy about this. We saw the SPY rally. We saw NIO follow as well, especially after we saw the gas prices start to go down for the month of July. It had its effect. Now, this is all good. It's very awesome to see NIO, kind of rally with the overall market. But tomorrow is another big day. Not only does NIO have earnings at the night, but before that, we have PPI coming out, producer price indexes. And if you don't know what that is, that basically measures the average change over time in the selling prices received by domestic producers for their outputs. So this is just as important as CPI. This is kind of like the inflationary measure for the seller side, right? Because CPI is for consumers, this is going to be for the sellers, the producers, and it's coming out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Now, the last time this data came out, according to the data, it was actually at about, we saw an increase of 11.3% overall for the 12-month end in June. So it was massive. It was over 10%. It was horrible. And the market actually took a big hit after this came out. All right. So the question is it going to go down? And based off the fact that CPI was actually lower than expected, it's very likely this actually does show a big decrease compared to before. So I'm really hoping that we see a bit of a decrease. As you can see in the overall charts, we can see that the black line right here showing this uptrend overall. This is the final demand, and we're seeing like a big increase. So overall, I would like to see a slight decrease kind of start from here, and we should see a bit of a drop from here as well. If you look at the 12-month change, it's just been on this uptrend. We started off all the way down here for final demand goods, and final demand services. Everything was kind of lower, and it slowly started to uptrend over the last 12 months. So finally, I would like to see this start to decrease. I would like to see a big drop. And I think we have the potential to finally start to see that. It would be very good. Now, I'm not too concerned about this because overall CPI was down. So I don't think this will have as big of an effect on NIO. And I think that NIO has some more upside potential because we have earnings coming out for tomorrow. And generally during these earnings days, there's some excitement that kind of prevails. Even though people know that earnings may not be that strong for NIO because of what happened, there could still be some big announcements to be made about their expansion plans and things like that. I am going to go into more details about that tomorrow, but for tomorrow, when it comes to the share price, I still am anticipating some pretty decent price action. And that's actually kind of dependent on the overall market. So that's why I want to actually talk about that first before I get into more details about NIO. Real quick, looking at SPY, let me find my SPY chart. I think it's down here. There's one thing that concerns me a bit. The SPY has this massive gap up here, but that doesn't mean it has to get filled immediately. That doesn't mean SPY has to just crash. The SPY had this big gap because the market was excited. We saw CPI come out and it's starting to lower down. The market loved it. And you can see how positive the SPY reacted in the overall market. Now, the problem that I'm seeing is, okay, the SPY is at 420. 420 was the key support. I was actually talking about this in previous videos. This is key support from the past. So now it's acting as resistance. It's resistance for SPY. So could the SPY actually get rejected off that? It's possible for the SPY to start tanking, but it's also possible that the SPY has more juice left for tomorrow after PPI comes out and it continues to push as high as 425. So if we break 420, we actually hold above that. This thing has the potential to go to 425. Very, very possible for this week. Can I guarantee it? The answer is no, because really anything could happen, but I'm still a little bit more bullish than bearish, and I think this could actually help NIO out. As for NIO made a nice move. You could see this thing just bounced off 19, pushed all the way up to the $20 range. I didn't anticipate that NIO would actually get a nice move if CPI was, pretty good and NIO was actually showing that potential. We ended up closing above 20, which is a pretty decent sign. Now, are we going to continue to push down or are we going to crash? I'm anticipating some more bullish price action for tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if NIO continues to push as high as like the $21 range. And I think that's because we have earnings tomorrow by the nighttime. So the market might actually still allow NIO to push up a little bit more, and we might see a lot of buyers step in. So NIO could actually push up like this. And if we actually break past 20.17 or 20.2, the range right there, that's where NIO has the key resistance. Break past there, then we have 20.8. NIO might have some whatever like a struggle to kind of break past that, but I'm seeing it kind of breaking past that and pushing as high as maybe the low 21s. It could go as high as 21.5. That's unlikely, but it is possible, as NIO could be very, very bullish because we have earnings coming out. Maybe rejection off that, and this thing might slowly kind of trend down into close and maybe close right over here around the low 21 mark. So that's essentially what I'm predicting for tomorrow. I know I drew my line kind of off, but you understand my point. I'm pretty bullish for tomorrow. I think NIO is going to make another good move, and I'm bullish because we have earnings, and I do think we might see some very, very nice price action. Now, with that out of the way, I still want to talk about something else that's important. I don't think this is going to last forever because the market is kind of long overdue for a bit of a drop. So for SPY, Yeah, maybe the SPY pushes up to 425. Maybe it does. But I do see it coming back down very, very soon within the next few weeks. If you look at the SPY, unfortunately, it has a gap down at like 411, another gap at 408, another gap at 408 is right there. It has another gap in the 390s, 380s, 370s, 360s. It has so many gaps. It has millions of gaps basically down, and it's most likely going to start filling these gaps within the next few weeks. I would say as we approach September, as we get closer within maybe a couple of weeks. So be ready for that. It may actually contribute to dragging NIO down as well as we approach September. But other than that, we're not necessarily there yet, so the SPY has some room, and it does look like NIO might actually push up a bit for tomorrow. I'm anticipating some nice price action. Now, just to remind you guys about support and resistance levels, just to remind you, even if this prediction is wrong, because I can't always be right. No one is always right when it comes to predicting the market. If NIO drops and has support at 19.5, 19 flat, then 18.75 and 18.5, those are your key zones. If it pushes up, I'd be looking at 20.2 around that range, 20.8 and 21.5 as the key resistance levels. So just to prepare you guys, please be ready for anything, and just note that this is just the short term. The long term future is very, very bright. And NIO did actually tweet this on their Twitter page. We can see the NIO EC6 is right over there. It has a coupe that's redefining how on earth these SUVs are performing, and I'm very, very excited for what on earth they have coming up. You could see how beautiful this the look of the car is from its rear right over here, and I think it's a very, very beautiful move that they're going to make in the future. They may have some big announcements for earnings, which is why we might see some excitement. We might see some FOMO come in. So be ready for tomorrow. I do anticipate a nice move up. And with that out of the way, please stay strong, remain calm, cool, and collected, and get ready for tomorrow because earnings is coming in the night. With that out of the way, thank you for listening. NIO to the moon because the long term future is bright, and peace out.